Hey there, how you doing today? My name is Michael Zuber, and I'm author of One Rental at a Time. And something you will see on this channel that I do every day is do a daily financial news. I talk to multimillionaires Monday through Friday. I do a live Q&A on Saturday, and then I share my goals and what's going on with my community on Sunday. So we're producing content every day that's original. It's not edited, it's just done live and we go for it. So it's just is what it is. But a question I got the other day that I thought was interesting that I actually took time and built a PowerPoint presentation. I built the PowerPoint presentation so we could walk through it together. I think it's interesting to kind of see how my logic plays out. And the question really is how can we make money under a Joe Biden administration? A lot of folks in real estate, a lot of folks investing are going, hey, the rules are going to change. We're going to spend a lot of money. What should I do? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to basically go through a presentation, kind of share with you what I think is coming over the next, 1 to 4 years. We're then going to go, okay, what's going to happen in the stock market? What's going to happen in multifamily or apartments, 5 units and above? And then what's going to happen with residential? So without further ado, let me bring up the presentation, just kind of share with you what I think's going on. Again, I share this with you one, to kind of validate just internally, right? I am making personal financial decisions, frankly, every day, every week, every month. I'm active in this business. You can look on this channel. I share with you deals I'm doing all the time. I'm sharing with you what I'm thinking about because, you know, some of you will agree and many and maybe even most of you won't. And when you don't agree, you're going to let me know. So sometimes it's important to figure out what you got wrong. What am I thinking wrong about? Because hey, getting a financial decision wrong could have real implications. So again, this is how to make a lot of money under a Joe Biden administration. So we're going to talk about again what I see coming and how it might impact various assets. So first, these are the things that I see over the next 4 years, right? Let's talk about Joe Biden's first term, which is 4 years in duration. So first and foremost, we are going to have more stimulus, more programs, and lots of spending. I think we're going to have more stimulus on top of the 1.9 trillion that is already proposed. I think we're going to have an infrastructure thing. I think we're going to have programs to help new homeowners and programs for low income and student loans. And we are going to flood the American economy with money, dollars, spending. The national debt is going up. I think under the last administration, we printed 20% of all dollars in the last year or two. I think we will repeat that feat. And frankly, by the end of 4 years, I think we will probably have printed more than 50% of all dollars in the last 5 years. I think that is coming. Next, I think inflation is a greater risk than deflation. And when you talk about inflation and deflation, you really need to think about them, or at least I think about them in two aspects. One is hard assets, think real estate. And then one is consumer goods, my tenants, gas, food, what is going on? Because I think we will see disproportionate things happening with hard assets and consumer prices. And I think they won't mirror each other, but they will be on different trends. I think it is very clear that if there is hard assets that produce cash flow, that is going to be chased. I think consumer prices will be kind of hit and miss as we work out supply chains, as we kind of bring back the American consumer. I think about a quarter, maybe 20% of our economy is kind of not working today. So I think that's going to come back and that will have impact. I think it is pretty clear that this administration wants to take federal minimum wage up. I don't think that affects some states like California. I think minimum wage is already $13 or $14, not really an impact. But some states where the minimum wage is $7.25, it's going to have huge impact. It's going to have huge impact in employment. It's going to have huge impact in local economies. It's going to be impactful. It's going to go up over time, but I think at the end of 4 or 5 years, it will be up. There will be ripple effects. So I'm going to have to figure out what those might be. One of them is going to be, well, if somebody used to make 725 and they now make 15, rent's going up. I think without question, affordable rentals are going up as minimum wage rises. Additional dollars, additional programs, and support for families in the bottom 25%. Maybe it's the bottom 33, maybe it's the bottom 20. I don't know where the line will be drawn, but it is very clear that this current administration wants to focus on that part of the economy and push money in programs and help. I think government left unchecked is disruptive, and there will be ramifications, some good, many bad. And you have to really play that out and what might come of that. It is going to be interesting to see. One of them, I'm fairly certain, again, in parts of the country where the minimum wage is not 15 or close to it, you're going to see increases in rent and inflation in food costs and these other things, and probably higher unemployment, which is going to perplex some people who don't understand economics. I think interest rates in general are going to be lowest in Joe Biden's first year. I think they're higher in the second. I think they're higher in the third, and they're higher in the fourth. They may not be high enough in the fourth year to be disruptive. They could be. I just think interest rates going forward, as you print or you produce more and more dollars, it's just going to have to be inflationary, at least in hard assets and probably at the consumer level. And I think that means that interest rates will have to rise to make sure there's a margin of safety and profitability for banks making loans and things of that nature. I think as interest rates rise in mortgages here, as mortgage rates rise, I think single family homes will become less affordable. As you know, as I wrote in the book, and if you haven't got it yet, go check it out on Amazon. Forbes said it was one of the top 15 books to read, which was really nice to see. I think homes becoming less affordable means something. It means rents are going to go up because people can't afford to buy, they're going to rent. It's, you don't just live in a car if you can't buy a home, right? You rent or buy, at least in most cases. So as affordability goes down, more people will rent, and I think rents will go up. I think as interest rates rise, the cap rate on multifamily will have to rise, because at some point it's like, hey, if I can get 3% in the bank, why do I want a 4 cap, right? The risk reward ratio is just not there. So I think cap rates on multifamily, if by year 3, by year 4 of Joe Biden's administration, I think it's going to force cap rates to rise, which means values will come down, potentially. So with lots of extra dollars in direct support, right? Sending checks to people, an increase in the minimum wage, more money. I think rents are going to increase in affordable properties. I think rents will go up most in affordable properties because more people will have the extra money to pay for it. So for example, if you're in Mississippi and you're renting a 1-bedroom for $350, your rents very quickly could be $550, $600 even, because you've got extra stimulus money, you've got higher double minimum wage. I think rents will go up at the bottom end of the market. It's just what I think. I think something else that is very clear, again, that I think holds throughout the Joe Biden administration is something I call space is good. That means I don't want to live in a 600 square foot apartment or an 800 square foot apartment when I can buy a house or rent a house. I think work from home is real. And again, it's very hard to work from home in an apartment. You need that extra room, that extra space. So I think a home is a big deal. I think some people will pivot back as companies kind of pull you back, but I think work from home is left, the horse has left the barn, if you will, and it's going to be hard to put the genie back in the bottle. Some will try, but many will not. I think the other thing here that I failed to talk about or put on my PowerPoint is millennials. Millennials are going to be buyers. Millennials are going to make a difference. Millennials are going to be a large percentage of first-time buyers. Oh, look at that. I actually did put it in. I forgot. Again, millennials are that key group. Baby boomers have dominated economic discussion for 40 years. Well, millennials are going to start to dominate the conversation for the next 40 years. So where do millennials want to live? Where do millennials not want to live? What kind of home do they want? What kind of apartment do they not want? These trends will be meaningful. They will make some people rich and some people poor. If you are in a city where millennials are attracted to, good things are coming your direction. Another thing that's happening in kind of the area that I play in, single family homes, Wall Street has an appetite. Wall Street has proven it is profitable to be a landlord. Wall Street is hungry for homes. Wall Street can't find enough homes to satisfy their appetite. So Wall Street is building homes. Yes, Wall Street is building homes. And they're going to do it and do it and do it over and over and over again. Wall Street is going to own more single family homes every year going forward. I think rental rates are going to increase fastest in single family homes. You may see 5-8% rent increases in homes and maybe 0 to 1% in apartments. Now, there will be exceptions. There'll be some very hot spots, but in the end, I think single family home rents will increase faster than apartments. I believe first-time homeowners, back to this stimulus spending programs, more money, more money. I think first-time homeowners are going to get tapped on the shoulder and said, hey, you should own. We want you to buy. And there's constant talk of a $15K tax credit that could be used at the point of purchase. I think that is coming. And again, it's going to be very focused on single family or residential if you want a house hack or do something like that. Again, it'll be 4 units and below, residential loans. We are going to see increased demand for single family homes over the next 4 years. So here are some predictions. When I look at the stock market, the stock market, sometimes is a voting machine, and you could look at GameStop and AMC and all of that. And sometimes when all the votes go that direction, prices get stupid. But over time, it's a weighing machine. And I believe it's based on discounted future cash flow, risk adjusted. So I think there's going to be a time as interest rates rise and dividends are down and all of that, that I think the stock market's going to have at least one 30% crash in the next 4 years, 30% plus. And the stock market is going to have several 10% corrections over the next 4 years. The stock market has been volatile, will be volatile going forward, without question. Also, I think the stock market is going to love stimulus until it doesn't. I think the stock market will not be a fan of consumer inflation and will adjust accordingly. I think as interest rates rise, people will exit the market because at some point there's a risk return ratio. I think we could see regulation coming to stock market. What you were seeing with Robinhood and GameStock and AMC and all these others. SEC and the government is already chirping. They don't like what they see. So you are going to see increased regulation, which could mean more costs, less fluid, things of that nature. Multifamily, this is 5 units and above. I think loans on commercial properties have future interest rate risk or shocks. Yes, you can get a very low interest rate today, but what happens in 3, 5, 7 years when that rate comes up to term? I think interest rates are higher. And if you have apartments where inflation or rent increases haven't occurred, you could really have a lower NOI, a higher cap rate, and really hurt your value of a value when you go back to refi. You may have to bring equity to that refi table. I think there's going to be less demand. I am seeing that today. My houses are flying off the shelf when vacant. Apartments are struggling. Slower rent growth or no rent growth, higher turnover, harder to collect rent. So I could see cap rate expansion, right? If it is a hassle to be a landlord with apartments, you can see cap rates expand. And all of this will hit future values. Single family rentals, 30-year fixed rate money now, get as many as you can, right? Rates are really low, and over the next 3, 5, 7 years, it'll be good to have cheap 30-year money. I think we're going to have rising prices and rising rents. So I think it'll be, if you have fixed rate debt, you as a landlord are going to enjoy that. I think that increases cash flow, increases value, and of course, your net worth will increase. If you own single family homes with 30-year rate debt, you like inflation. You like inflation in value and inflation in rent. It's magic. In the end, I would tell you goal number 1 is spend 30 to 60 days learning your market. I call it doing the work. I have a course below, yes, that costs $199 that shows you exactly how to do the work. I want you to build the confidence and believe in yourself in step 2. Join the Facebook group. If you buy the course, join the Facebook group. The group's called How One Rental at a Time Works, and I'll show you that in a minute. Goal number 3 is start writing offers on good or great deals. If list price is $200, but a good deal is $180, write the offer at $180. Get good at writing good or great deals. 2021, the market is changing, but you've got to be ready. You've got to do the work. And then finally, eventually, you will close a good or great deal. If you write an offer on a good or great deal and they counter or it doesn't work, it's okay. Move on. 2021 is going to be the year of increasing inventory, and you will, if you're doing the work, you will write good offers, and over time, you will get a deal. In the end, I have a course. It's called How to Get Started One Rental at a Time. As you can see there in the upper right, it's $199. There's a link below. But if you do buy the course, and if you're on Facebook, do yourself a favor, ask to be added to this group. It's called One Rental at a Time Works. I'm the only one that manages it. I look at it once a day. It is where it's the safest place on the internet, in my opinion. You can ask any questions. There are no dumb questions. You can talk about deals and wins. And of course, if you're one of my students, you need to tell me when you do a deal, because my positive impact score goes up by 100,000 every time one of my students does a deal. And if you want to know what my positive impact score is, go look at my goal playlist. There's a video from last week. It gives you a full breakdown of my positive impact score. So at the end, that's how I think. I think you can make a lot of money under Joe Biden from 2021 to 2024. I think some things are very clear. I think those things will have ramifications, and those things will impact different asset classes differently. I think single family has the most going for it, but will take work. There's not a lot of inventory today. But as I said, goal number 1, you need to do the work. If you're already doing the work, congratulations, keep doing it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, click the link below, buy the course, get going, join the group, and let's have some fun. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day. Take care. Be well.